At the KSMO studios. I'm not going to say what I just did. Kind of kicked the bucket, didn't I?
Say.
That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing to say. Anyway, here at KSMO Radio, I can't believe you said that to me, Heather.
You said it.
I did. I recognized it, and I did it. Yep, all my fault. How are you? Good. Did you have a good Labor Day?
Yeah, nice to always have that extra day. That 3-day weekend is always appreciated.
You betcha.
Yeah.
You betcha. Very good. Very good. Heather's married now. I mean, your kid well now, right?
Yep.
Heather Kidwell. Okay, very good. And so we, well, of course, we know that you're busy all the time. And you get that extra day off. Now that you've got other family obligations.
Right. Yeah. No, it's still good.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
It's been that long.
I'd rather be busy than.
No,
an
you're
alternative.
always busy. You stay busy. Kids will keep you busy. Job keeps you busy. And you just like to stay busy. And you just ran a 20-miler this weekend?
20 miles. I don't know why.
Did you count your steps?
That's a lot. It's a lot of steps.
When you got about halfway through, did you think, is this really worth it?
Well, 13 is the farthest I'd ever done before that. So at about 13, I'm like,
What
am I doing?
Yeah, well,
why did I sign up for this?
and why am I still 7 miles from the finish line?
Right, and you got to finish. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to
Wow.
get done. So.
Wow. Anyway, well, that was a new experience.
It was, yeah.
Are you going to run in a Heroes Marathon coming up? Are you training for
November.
that? Yeah. Is this kind of like a training for that?
No, I've never done a full marathon. After this, I don't know that I could. I'm like,
Well, I think you should try and build up a
Yeah.
little
I've
slower
done the
than going
half.
7 more miles.
Yeah, I've done the half several times, but
Well, that's
with
good,
the
though.
hero
Sure,
marathon.
sure.
Yeah,
Half is good.
Yeah,
That's what,
I may stick with that.
13?
13, yeah.
There you go.
Sounds better than 20, don't it?
You know, we can always back you up. We can find something in between. If you want to go 20 again.
No, that's okay.
Or even 18. We
Hey,
can
they have
figure.
a 5K. I
They
might
do
just
have a
do
5.
that.
No, come on. If you can run 20, you can do half. Yeah.
Let's see.
Do you like to run?
I do. Yep, enjoy running very much.
All right, very good. Well, we're glad that you were able to.
Drive over here.
I was going to
this
say,
morning.
kind of crawl in here. She's not moving real fast this
No,
morning, but
Not at all.
that's okay. We understand that. I've done that many times. Played. We had a softball marathon. I remember years and years and years ago. At 45 years old,
Sore for a while.
started at 9 o'clock in the morning on a day that got to 103, and we played until 7 that night. Not a break.
Holy cow.
Kept winning. We were in the losers bracket, so we kept winning. Ended up playing a team we lost to in the first round
Oh, wow.
for the championship. So, yeah, kind of sucked. But anyway, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That whole week, couldn't even lift paper. Couldn't do anything. It was rough. That was a few years back.
Just a couple.
Yeah, like 20. It's been a while. Anyway, nonetheless, thank you for being here this morning.
absolutely.
It's closing in on autumn. We're actually getting a little kind of autumny weather here.
Oh, we had rain over in Licking this morning. You guys
We had a
had
little sprinkles,
Did
yeah.
ya? Okay.
Didn't have as much rain. You guys had a little bit more than we did this morning, and we were kind of on the top end of that. We got it last night.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, we got some, well, actually starting in the, I guess, early evening, 6-ish, just a few drops here and there. And it did that for about 3 to 4 hours. A little bit of here, a little bit of there.
Yeah.
And then overnight, we had pretty consistent, inconsistent rain. How's that? I mean, well, I mean, it was,
Consistently
yeah,
inconsistent.
it was. Well, I mean, you'd have a nice little shower, and then it would stop. And then just a couple drops, and then a nice little shower and stop. And it wasn't super hard rain. We got, I don't know what our total is yet since they're not finished for the day,
Right.
but I would venture to say third of an inch,
Yeah. Well,
max.
maybe slow like that. The ground will soak it up.
Oh gosh, yes, it's loving that, especially at night when there's no
Not
sun,
sunny. Yeah.
and no sun burning it off. But okay, very good. But we're glad that you're here. And autumny weather.
It is. Yeah.
Are you cold? I mean, I can turn that off. Okay, I don't want you
You're
to
fine.
freeze
No,
over
I'm
there.
not. I'm
Okay.
not freezing.
Okay.
No, autumn, fall is my favorite, and a lot of our members appreciate the fall and the spring months because
Well,
their
you
electric
bet.
bills are lower. The air
Well,
conditioning's
sure.
not running as much, the heat's not on yet, so it's a nice time of year to kind of have those lower electric bills. But it's a good time of year to be doing work like checking your heating cooling systems and your filters. Make sure that those are cleaned or changed. We had a member call earlier this week. They said, "Hey, I'm adding insulation, attic insulation this week." It would be a great time to do that.
We've had some issues this morning with some equipment.
Okay.
So you weren't coming across real loud. So
Okay.
Melba was giving me the
Giving you the sign language.
yeah. Up, 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 up.
Yeah. But yeah, attic insulation, fall is a great time. If you've had that on your to-do list for a while, this is a good time of year to add something
Or
like that.
under in your crawl space too. I mean, even in the heat of summer, it's cool down there, but it's going to be usually pretty humid.
Right. Right. Nobody wants to be working on insulation when you've got, like you said, 103 temperature day, and you certainly don't want to wait till winter
No.
to do that. So if that's something you've been looking to do, please take advantage of this nicer weather and get things like that done now.
Caulking also a good time this year because it's still over 55
It is.
degrees.
Right.
Now you may have the night fall to under that. So if you do want to caulk, you want to caulk probably late morning, early afternoon. Let's set for the 4 or 5 hours it really needs to. So yeah, you don't do it too late at night. I would not recommend doing it at 6:30.
Yeah, don't do it when you get home from work.
You know if the night's going to, and we're going to have a few 40-degree nights
Yeah.
here coming up. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's going to get cool. Absolutely. Very good, very good thing to bring out. It's also, a lot of people are going to be trimming trees at this time of year and
Good
trimming their
point.
hedges and bushes and stuff. So one of the things you want to watch out for is your implements around lines because those lines are sitting out there and you can easily take a nice little clipper off a tree and
Yeah.
touch that line, and that can be very dangerous.
It can, and we talk about this a lot, but probably not enough. You have to watch out for those overhead power lines, underground lines when you're digging. Make sure you call Missouri One Call, call 811, but look up and be aware of where those overhead power lines are. If it's your home, you kind of just become complacent to those. They're there. You don't really notice them. You're not paying attention to them. And if you're doing work like that, trimming back some tree branches or maybe getting up on the roof and cleaning out gutters or something, it's easy to kind of just forget, oh, it's right there. So please look up before you start some sort of job like that. And just
it's
know where
good
they're
too
at.
if you're up there on top of your house. If your electric is coming down the side of your house, I don't recommend you getting a ladder and going up there and inspecting it. But if it comes in off a top mast off your house, which many of them used to many years
Right,
ago.
we still have several that are like that.
Take a look and see if there's any damage done there. And if there is, don't touch it. Just contact Intercounty or contact your electrician. Have somebody come out and take a look at it. If you
Right.
see the lines are damaged, you might want to call Intercounty. But if you get up there and that masthead is tilting or being ripped out, you've got a problem.
Right. It's a good time to call an electrician.
Yeah, especially before winter hits and you don't want to get any extra little leaks that come
Yeah.
from those things, and especially too with the autumn season, usually a little wetter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll notice the leaks then.
Notice the leaks then. You will notice a lot of leaks then. And you don't always assume that because you have the leak right there at the mast that that's where you're going to see your leak. Oh, no. No. Water goes to the lowest point before it starts to drip. And that may be halfway across your house.
So finding the cause of that sometimes is quite
It is.
task.
It is not a treat.
No.
Trust me. Actually, we had an issue with our house, and I found out the problem. I didn't think we need a new roof yet, but our vent pipe from the kitchen, water was getting in around that vent pipe, and all of a
Oh.
sudden, nice little leak. It started to grow. And actually we had leaks through our lights.
Really?
Came through the lights.
That sounds dangerous.
It is. I mean, but it just came through. It got on
Low
the
point.
floor. It didn't damage the lights. But then when a lot of rain came down, it was too much just to drip in the line. So it would run down toward the gutter, but then no way for it to get out, and it would run back toward that light. So then you got this on your ceiling, and guess what? Your ceiling started to cave, getting heavy from water. So be careful out there. It can happen to anybody. Water's tricky. Very.
Yes,
very,
it is.
Very tricky. So want to watch out for that. But it's also a good time, autumn is, when you're converting from air conditioning to heating, to take a look at your ducts, because there's usually a lot of dust and buildup in those ducts, especially if you have those nice, sweet, little, lovable shedding pets.
Right. Yes. That's the truth. And we have a lot of members on our system that are in mobile homes, and they've got their ductwork down underneath, and maybe that underpinning hasn't been exactly great. Little critters get in there, and they can knock those loose. And really quickly, you can have a lot of energy waste because you're heating or cooling, whatever you've
Right.
got running, is just kind of pumping out down there,
Raccoons like to stay cool
making
too,
life
right?
great for those guys. So definitely take a look at your ductwork. And like you said, now's a good time, before we switch over from air to heat. Take a look at it and make sure they're clean, make sure they're connected, good and ready to go for winter.
And it might not be a bad idea to have a furnace person come out and check your furnace. This is the right time to do it. They're not going to be super busy when it's good weather like this. Say, hey, come on, can you check my furnace? We'll make sure everything's working good. Last thing you want to do in the middle of winter, always the coldest night when it stops.
Right. And that's when they're busy, and that's when you're going to have to wait.
Yeah. And that's not really conducive to a real good night's sleep.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah.
When you're shivering and stuff. So it's just a couple of just common sense things, but you're getting this transfer of season to season. Take advantage of it to do those things that you need to do. Hey, if you see something that needs to get done, get it done. This is a great time to do it.
It is, yeah.
If you have to get up on your roof, and if you do, please be careful.
Right.
Guys,
Always.
I've heard too many people falling off roofs.
Yeah.
Don't get up there after a rain, because if you have I don't care if you have a metal roof or a shingle roof. Shingle is oil-based, so if you get up there after a rain, guess what? It'll be a little slick. Metal roofs, they get a little slick too,
Yeah.
and they get it from the atmosphere. A lot of the dust, pollen, things get on there. You may not even see it. It may be a real fine coat. You step on it, all of a sudden your foot kind of slips out. So be really cautious if you get up on that roof. That's all I want to tell you.
Make sure somebody else is home. They know you're up there, so that way if an accident does happen, you're not just lying there for hours.
Right. Let them know you're on the
Let
roof.
them know you're
in
on the
case you
roof.
get trapped up there, your ladder falls down or something. When you smack your foot on the roof, they don't think somebody's up there tap dancing.
Yeah.
Just for grins.
I mean, because that happens all the time.
It did happen at our house, I can tell you that. I was stuck up there for a half hour. Jumping up down the roof. Hey, where are you at?
Trying to get somebody's
I thought
attention.
you were just doing something. Yeah. Ladder blew down. What can you do?
Yeah.
It does happen. Or fell down. I can't tell you. I'm pretty sure it blew down. Had a little breeze up there. It was a nice breeze.
Yeah.
But it's also a good time. And a lot of times, Heather, the summertime, we don't really realize how fast trees grow. And at the beginning of spring, you may have looked up, you may have had 5-6 feet away from the power lines with your branches and limbs, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Go take a look now. See where it is. It may be getting into that line now. Maybe nothing to do this year, but by next year, you may want somebody up there trimming that out.
Yeah. Or get them trimmed before they even get into
or
it.
if you can get it still done this year, you can. But I'm just saying, you need to take a look. I know that I remember we had a tree, and why they ever put a tree in underneath power lines, I have no idea. But they did, and they grew up, and of course the lines are right in the middle of the tree. And I thought, we had a young'un at that time. If that tree would start rubbing on that line, then all of a sudden
it's energized.
and they start climbing that tree,
It's dangerous.
we may have an issue. So just have them cut the tree down.
Right.
So it's not going to be of any use to me having a big old hole in the tree every year. That's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
But why they planted it underneath power lines? It was the thing that got me. They didn't put the power lines in after the fact.
It goes back to look up and be aware of where those overhead lines are. And I do think we really become complacent to them. You just kind of look out across your yard and, oh, there's a big open area. I'll plant the tree there. You've got to look up and be aware of where that is.
Now, some people have shrubs that aren't going to get that tall, and that's fine to put those underneath the lines if you want to. But do understand, though, you do need to make sure that you keep those hedges trimmed and things of that nature, because if you do need to access those lines, they're going to come in. If they have to tear them out, they will.
Right.
You just don't want them to get out of control. Find ones that are going to stay 4 or 5 feet tall at the most, and you're going to be in pretty good shape
all right.
as long as you keep them all trimmed up and well manicured. First off, they look great when they are well manicured. And the second thing is they're not going to be in the way of the people when they need to get up there.
Right.
But don't put ivy on the poles.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't put something. Don't surround your poles with a bunch of vegetation either, be it plants, be it flowers, be it bushes. I know it's a pole in the middle of your yard. It ain't great, but it provides you with electricity, and that is nice.
That is nice, yes. Yeah.
Or do the same thing around your ground mounted transformers. A lot of people like to hide those.
They do, yeah. And, I mean, they need room around them, and if they ever have to be worked on, the crews have to be able to access that panel and get in there, and they don't want to come mess up your landscaping. I mean, that's never the intention, but if it's totally blocked off and they've got to get in to do work to get power back on, there's gonna be some damage to the landscaping and
Some loss.
and we hate to see that, but power reliability is really important to our members. I mean, whether they like how the green box in their yard looks or the pole or whatever, power reliability is important, and we got to keep the power on, and that means we got to have a good right-of-way, we got to have good clearance, we got to keep stuff like that clear.
We're getting near, and I know we're not near it yet, holiday time, but I'm going to just bring this up because we're kind of talking about things you can do in these times of years to get yourself ready.
Okay.
Obviously, we have seen more big blow-ups than Thanksgiving and Halloween.
Right.
So we're only, not that far away, a month and a half away from Halloween, still 2 months away plus from Thanksgiving, and 3 months from Christmas. But if you're going to have outdoor outlets available to you, this would be a perfect time to, number one, check them or install them if you want to put them out there on your house.
Yes, before we get to those holiday seasons.
Before we get to those times.
Yeah, that's good advice. And we are seeing more of the inflatable, especially those inflatable yard decorations. And you want to make sure that's something you're running in your yard, outside. You want a GFCI outlet. You want something that's going to operate safely, that's got that safety, that if water is present, that it switches off. So, great time of year to do that. We're just going to make everybody a really long to-do list today, it sounds like.
Maybe we do, but it's a to-do list you can get. When the weather's like this, you can get a lot of these to-do things done actually pretty quick, because you're not really suffering outside and having to take a lot of breaks because of the heat,
Right.
or trying to get inside and warm up because of the cold. Right now it's just a perfect time to be out there. And we want to remind everybody, too, that whatever you want to do in your yard, whether it be putting in electric for maybe you're planning on having a pool next year.
Yeah.
This is a good time to go ahead and get that electric put in, or have all of that electric put in at one time by an electrician. Well, if you're doing it yourself, that's okay too. But make sure that you do it properly.
Right.
I know there's a lot of areas, Heather, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush on this one. There's a lot of areas in counties that have no codes. None.
Agreed.
Okay, you can wire that electric any way you want. You really can. Not a wise idea, but they could do it. And if they improperly wire that, you could have a major problem.
You can, yes. And safety for our members is just as important as safety for our crews. So we want to see our members in their homes being safely wired. And if you're going to be using, you talked about a pool or the outside outlets for yard decorations, we want you and your family safe. We're not just trying to be like, do it right, hire an electrician,
Well, no.
pay money. just do your research, ask questions to people that would know, have somebody come out and inspect it when you're done.
Sure.
There's a lot of options, but doing it properly so that it can operate safely, so that you and your family are safe, that is top priority.
A lot of people now, Heather, and I see it more and more now, want more outdoor space, not actually live in, but to entertain with.
Yes.
So if you're going to be putting in, say, maybe a new deck, maybe you're going to be putting in a brick patio, whatever it might be, before you go put all that in, and you may want to have electricity out there, maybe you're going to have a big barbecue area or a grilling area, whatever it might be, or maybe even just a refrigerator, things of that nature. Before you go and put all that in, get the wiring done first, and that way you know exactly where things are. So when they do the brickwork, or if you're putting in your grill and you've got concrete work to do, you've already got it there.
Yeah.
And put it in there and bring the line up, and just make it very evident where you want it to go. And people can do that job. It's not very hard to do, but just pre-plan. Pre-planning saves you a lot of problems. Like, you know as well as I do, you want to go put a light outside after the fact, yeah, go dig it out.
It's a big deal.
And if you got bricks or concrete in a way, you may have to tunnel under. That is not a lot of fun.
Right.
Trust me.
Going around,
whatever it might be.
Not easy either.
So yeah, just use a little bit of pre-planning to get the job done, and that way you're going to save yourself. And whether you use an electrician or you're doing it yourself, I mean, nobody's going to come out and inspect those plans if you're especially out in the country. You're not going to have that. So just make sure that you take the time, try and consider everything you may want to use that space for. I've even seen people that have taken some of their attic space and converted it over into like a playroom, which is a great idea. If you have access to it, good steps. I mean, real solid way to get up there besides a fireman's ladder or some crazy thing like that. But, if you have that and you want to utilize it, that's great. Make sure that insulation, before you put those drywall up there and cover up your insulation, you want to make sure it's fresh insulation underneath there.
Yeah.
It just makes common sense. You may have insulation there now, but you're not going to have access to that insulation for the next 26 years.
Yeah. Not easily, anyway.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't have to ever go back in there.
Right.
But you have to think of that ahead of time. So before you put that up, go get the best insulation you can to put there between your roof and your playroom, because otherwise you're gonna radiate the heat right in that playroom. It's gonna be unusable. And guess what? You're not gonna use it. You're gonna go through a lot of expense for nothing.
Yeah. Planning. Yeah.
Well, we're talking about it because it's very important. Not only when we're talking about these little small outdoor projects, but planning if you bought property and you're planning on putting a house. We've talked about this many times. And then you just say, well, I would love to have my house in that corner of our property. It's just a beautiful thing. It's got a great look over that lake. It's just gorgeous. Everything's fantastic. That's wonderful. Now, how do we get electric there?
Right.
Well, before you make your chisel it in stone decision, you may want to contact your well driller. You may want to contact your electric company, whether it be intercounty or other co-op or city company, whatever it might be. Contact them to see how available this is going to be and just how much it might cost to run it.
Right. It's just being prepared. You're getting your information together early. You're giving, whether it's us or somebody else, like you said, giving them adequate time to make sure they can have it ready when you're going to need it. It's not one of those things you want to wait last minute and then say, oh, hey, I don't want to bring the generator to the work site anymore.
Yeah.
we should probably call our electric company.
You think they can get us and don't just assume because you can see an electric pole that it's a clear shot over.
Right. There may be easement issues, and our engineers that come out, they stake that. They can give you estimates on costs. They can tell you what easement issues might be that you might have for that area. I mean, there's a number of things that kind of have to everything fall into place, and then we can get you some information, and you can decide if that's okay, or well, maybe
Maybe,
we can put it on this side of the property.
yeah. Yeah, maybe that beautiful view of the lake isn't as important as I thought. Or you may just go build yourself a small little place that you can go look at that lake.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got like these tough sheds and stuff but little mini homes. Just have them go put one there. You don't need water in it. You don't need electric in it. Just go have a little shed and
Yeah.
sit there and enjoy it from the little patio on that. You can just sit out there with your rocking chair and watch the lake bubble up with the Loch Ness Monster coming out.
You're painting a really good picture.
Well, if you got a Loch Ness
I was gonna
Monster
say.
in that county, you're going to have a problem, even in Texas County or anywhere else. That would definitely get some attention
It
if you
would.
did that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the idea is planning. Just get a lot of planning done, and this is a good time to do it. When the weather's fantastic, get in touch with them. If you also plan on building a new home, and you don't have to be doing this for a new home, but I always recommend this. If you want a backup generator system, that is the time to start thinking
It's a
about
perfect time.
which outlets do you want to be on that system. Maybe you want the kitchen on there, the air conditioner, 5 outlets, and you know the 5 you want. They can go to that generator, so if you have an issue with electric, goes off, derecho, ice storm, whatever it might be, when your generator kicks on, those items stay on.
Right.
Kind of important.
It is important. And when you're building a new home, you're absolutely right. That is the ideal time to plan for that, to work it into your construction and have it done. Adding it later can be done. It's just much more complicated
It
and
is.
and probably more costly. Don't know that for a fact, but I would say trying to do that after the fact would take a little bit of extra work. But yeah, if you're
yeah.
going to build, do it then.
And your friends in Minter County can help you assess what size generator you need. You guys do that.
We haven't done that we haven't had members ask us to do that in a long time.
Because we haven't had an emergency in a while either.
But a lot of that can be done over the phone even. If you know what you want to run and kind of what size those items are, we've got people on staff that can kind of ballpark, well, you're going to need at least this size or that size or
Right.
whatever.
You just need to know the size of the generator is going to be able to accomplish what you want. That's what I'm saying, though. Minter County has people that can help you with that. Do you need big generator? Well, if you're going to have your whole house, you're going to have a big generator.
And that's going to be costly.
That's going to be costly. But if you just want a couple rooms, maybe where your freezers, refrigerators, stoves, electric water heater are. It's very important to have electric water heater on backup, in case you don't know that.
Yeah.
Because if electric should go out, you've got no hot water.
Makes your morning shower a
Oh,
lot
makes your
quicker.
morning shower an eye opener.
Yeah.
Oh, woo!
Wakes you up, don't it?
Oh, I'm not sure about waking up, but it'll send a little shiver down your spine. Tell you that. But again, these are all things planning. Always want to be planning ahead of time. Get those things done. So you may want to put a little checklist together. Well, that's a good idea, Heather had. Put a little checklist together. Check the caulking, check your insulation, check all around your
Filters.
doors. You've got seals that go on the bottom of your doors. You also have your weather stripping that goes around your doors. Make sure that that's all good. Also make sure, too, your windows are closed.
And locked.
'Cause a lot of people I can feel air through there. Well, your window just may not be closed. You may have opened your window, enjoy some of this beautiful spring-type weather we've had in the middle of summer yet. But make sure your windows are closed. Because by not closing the window, well, you've got a little issue here.
Yeah.
You may forget about it.
Right. Winter comes and the cold air's coming in. Then you'll notice. Yeah. Then you'll notice.
You'll notice in a big hurry. And that's not something that you need to have insulation done to or anything else. It's just, like I said, just maybe a little common sense that, let's go check all the windows, make sure they're all closed and locked.
Right.
Before we go crazy and buy 700 tubes of caulk.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot.
And you still have the draft.
And you still have the draft.
Yeah.
Because it's coming through the window. Unless you're going to caulk the screen, I don't regularly recommend that.
No,
Yeah.
no. But keep having them locked. You know the seal is good. You've got it closed all the way. Shouldn't be any air coming in around the window itself there. If the locks latch and you still got some cold around it, then you've probably got a caulking issue.
Yeah. And hopefully they put them in right.
Hopefully, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Well, I mean, it does.
It's important,
Like I
yeah.
said, we have no codes when you get out of county. And so I'm not going to say people do shoddy work. I'm not going to say that. You know, some people will. Some people won't. Some people go through meticulously perfect plans, and that's fantastic. Some people just give me a ballpark of what I need to do, because sometimes that may be enough for now. Probably won't be enough in the long term, but for now, that may be okay. But if that's all you can do is for now, then do it.
yeah.
One other planning thing I'm going to throw at you that's not really intercounty related, but it is intercounty related, will help you with your bills, because South Central Missouri Community Action Agency is going to have LIHEAP money again. We always talk about ways to do that. We
Assistance.
always talk about our friends from Roundup being able to help people out. Well, LIHEAP can help you out a lot too, with insulation and even new windows and things of that nature. And they just got a big chunk of money from a settlement with Ameren. So there's going to be a lot of extra money out there down at the South Central Missouri Community Action Agency. It's in
For some
Winona. but you can
weatherization.
you're right. And you can contact your local office on Wine Street. That is a great way to utilize those resources that cost you nothing and get a lot of that done. So, I wanted to throw that out there because we're at that time. Now is the time to make your application. If you know you've got some issues, get them taken care of now.
Right. So you can see that savings this winter and
Right.
not be paying for all the electric that's running to compensate for all the weatherization issues that you could have had LIHEAP help
Sure.
you take care of.
And if there's something that they don't cover that you need to have replaced that you just can't afford, that's when Operation Roundup may be able to help step up and cover some of those costs. So this is the
Good.
opening of the box.
Right.
So take stock of these things. This is the time
It is.
to do it, and then go from there. And you just never know. You can contact South Central Missouri Community Action Agency on Wine Street over there. It's 1405 South Wines, I think. But anyway, you can stop by. You can find out all about LIHEAP. That's all going to be opening up again. So now is the time to get all that together and say, look, I really need this done. You can come, if you want to look at my installation, it's 1/2 inch thick.
That's not a whole lot.
Well, but old insulation, back in the
settles.
day, I know when we redid part of our house, the insulation was only 1 inch thick when they put it in.
Oh, wow.
It was back in the late
Yeah.
50s, early 60s. And then now you're talking about a minimum of 3 inches. But back then, it was 1 inch. And then that inch, after 50 years, there's not much there but paper.
I was going to say, what do you got? The paper left?
Yeah, that's about it. There wasn't much. But you wonder why when you got in the shower, it was cold all the time. Well, I can tell you why it was cold all the time. There was no insulation.
Yeah.
Around
Heat's
there.
just going
So-
right on out.
Yeah. So, anyway, just a couple things. I know that's not really truly inter-county related, but if you're in the county and you're on inter-county, that will help save you some money by using LIHEAP and getting that done now. Very good.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm done talking. It's all yours now.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about October, and we'll talk about October next month. But
Well, it is October next month.
I know, but I meant next month on the radio. I can't wait till next month to talk about it because it'll already be here. Well, I will talk about it next month. That sounded really confusing, didn't it?
Yeah.
October.
October.
October is National Co-op Month.
Well, it is.
And we always have Member Appreciation Day events across our service area throughout the month. This year we're adding an extra one, so we've got 7. We're going to be in St. James also. So we'll have a day for Licking, Rolla, and Mountain Grove at our 3 offices. And then just like last year, right here in Salem over at the Commons,
Satellite celebrations.
yes, the Summersville Square and Roby Senior Citizen Center. But this year we're adding, we're going to be at one of the parks in St. James. That's one of those suggestions, that
Okay. So that's going to be a city park or Nelson Hart, or do you know yet?
I'm not sure which one. Something about a North Pavilion or South Pavilion
Probably
or
Nelson. Well, no, they both have pavilions, so yeah.
I'm not sure which
Yeah.
park, but that's one of those suggestions that we had heard for a couple of years from our members, and so we do listen, and we're getting St. James added, so we'll have 7 different locations. But the one for Salem is Tuesday the 10th of October, which is
The day we're here.
the day we're here. So,
And
yeah, Tuesday, October 10th
so
at
we're
the
bringing
Salem
everybody
Commons.
from Intercounty in here for the interview?
Yeah, I would make a lot of people uncomfortable if I told them that. But
Well, you make so many more happy.
sure, we'll say some of them would be happy. But we'll talk about it that day. We'll talk about it that morning. We'll remind you that from 11 to 1 over at the Commons, we'll be out there serving lunch. But I want you to go ahead and mark your calendars now. We'll have that schedule. It'll be in the October Rural Missouri magazine, so you can look at it there. But for now, just know Radio Day is going to be lunch day from Intercounty. So make sure you plan on joining us between 11 and 1 for lunch. And if you are a business owner and you've got a business here in Salem and you'd like for us to bring lunch out,
Yeah, they deliver.
we do deliver. So let us know ahead of time, please, because we will plan for that. We'll have some bags made up for you. We'll get you on the delivery schedule, and that way everything runs a little bit more efficiently when there's a plan. Talking about planning, so if we know where you are, how many you need, we can send your meals with a group of others that are, businesses that are around you as well. So let us
and their
know.
hot dogs are huge.
They're doing hamburgers this year.
And hamburgers.
Well, they're not going to do
Wow.
hot dog and hamburger. I think they're just going to do burgers
They're going to do burgers this
instead
year.
of hot dogs. So
Okay.
we'll see how
Well,
that
last
goes.
year the hot dogs were huge.
Yeah, I think they were quarter-pound dogs or something.
I don't know. They were huge. They were much bigger than the bun.
Right,
Like
hanging
I
off
don't
each
know
end.
why I had the bread. I mean,
Yeah,
just to hold it to keep the heat for the hot dog away. But
Yeah.
they were very, very tasty, and it's a great way, just to have a quick lunch. And, as you as a boss, you can say you're buying lunch for everybody that day in
Right.
Winter County.
yeah.
Sneaky dude, you might be. That's
Yeah.
But
And we don't. It don't matter to us.
that's great. No,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic, and they bring it right to you. And it's not just the burger; there'll be some chips, and
Right.
I think one time we had a brownie. In
Snack
town.
cake. Yeah, they try to throw a snack cake in there and
Cookies
chips and
sometimes, but
yeah.
it's a bit different. Not always the same thing every year.
Right. But
It's great. October 10th, 11 to
Yeah.
1, out at the Commons.
yes, and if you join us out there, we'll have an electric credit drawing for a $50 electric credit, so you can put your name in for that if you eat with us out there. But if not, we'll still get lunch delivered to you.
Very good. It's always a good time. Mm-hmm. And again, if you have some issues that you need to talk to Intercounty about, it's a great time to ask questions.
It is, or share those suggestions. Like I said, not always can we just get something changed right away, but suggestions are always welcomed, and that's how we grow, and that's how we do new things. Like, oh yeah, let's add St.
Well,
James.
you have
We've
to
had a
go
lot of
and
interest.
You have to inquire about things.
Right.
Sometimes places aren't available.
Yeah, that's true.
So you want to go book that pavilion, do you? Well, you should have booked it a year ago.
Right, and some places are like that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And so it can happen that way. So very good. So when is the St. James one going to be?
St.
Do you know off the top
James?
of your head? Or
Well,
do
I've
your
got
handy
it wrote
schedule right
down. I
here?
do. St. James is going to be the following Tuesday, October 17th.
Oh, very good.
So-
Pretty much about two a week you guys will be doing during
Tuesdays
October.
and Tuesday. They're all Tuesdays or Thursdays,
Okay, well, very good.
which work well because then on Mondays and Wednesdays we can kind of pre-prep the bags and
And recover.
and get things, get things ready to go for the next one.
So when you deliver those, are you going to run those from the Commons into town?
No.
Since you're now.
Nope. Nope, not at all. We've got some crews that join us for those days, and we load them up, and we have boxes labeled, and we tell them where to deliver to, and
So you don't have to
they're
run.
a huge help, and
So you're not an Olympian. You're going to be running
No.
from Olympia to total different.
no,
Okay.
yeah,
Very good.
with
They're just
300 bags of lunch. It's a big backpack.
here it is. Okay, I'll be
Just
back.
call us Grubhub, I guess, huh?
Can I get an extra bag of chips? No.
No. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
But that'll be through the month of October.
Okay.
So I know we're not there yet, but I did want to mention it just because our Salem Day will be the day that I'm here, so I won't be able to give you much warning. But
well, not much.
yeah, magazine will have the information. I think we're going to try to get something on the bills, kind of schedule, so you can have that. And
That'd be good.
if you don't have it wrote down already, which I know you already wrote it down, you put it in your calendar.
Hopefully you have.
Stuck it on your fridge.
Sticky notes work out great.
They
Put them
do.
all over.
Yeah,
Or on your phone.
right.
I wouldn't
Add a
I
reminder.
wouldn't etch it in my forehead
No, not that.
because they change the date every year.
Right.
Scratch that out. It's not going to look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but keep in mind, it really is a wonderful month for you guys. 'Cause
It
you really
is.
do a lot of different things to try and help out the members and try and keep them aware that you do appreciate them.
We do, and we have got a fantastic group of members. We really do. Great group of line workers, employees. We really, it's a good co-op. We've got good members. We're able to provide good service. It's best case scenario, I think.
All right, very good. And it's always good eatings too.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Right.
That's the best part. One thing I did want to ask you about with harvesting season, we all know this, and I'm hoping that people kind of talked a little bit about trimming trees, but there's a lot of vehicles on the road right now, and some of them have long arms and they're high. And if you are going to be driving one of those farm implements that might be scraping a line, you really need to maybe reroute your path.
Right. Yeah. Please pay attention to that.
Or if you have a line that's dropping low
Right.
for whatever reason.
Let us know if you've got a line that seems to be drooping, if it's lower than it usually is. Around our area, dump trucks, we have probably just as much issue with that. We don't have a whole lot of harvest work like other parts of Missouri. But if you've got any large pieces of equipment, farm equipment, no matter what
hay
time of year it
baler
is.
isn't exactly short.
Yeah.
There's a lot of haying going on right now.
Yeah. So just, it goes back to what we started out the show with. Please just look up and be aware of where those lines are and where your equipment's at, and make sure you're paying attention to clearances. And if you have something that seems to be sagging, let us know so we can get out there and take a look and see what's going on.
Yeah, I would go take a look at all those entry points or exit points from your fields that may have electric, just so you can take a look there and like, that looks like a foot lower than last year. Well, if it's a foot lower than last year,
And you were close last year.
and you were close last year, I would get something done beforehand.
Yeah.
Or find a different route and use a different way of getting in and out. Don't just assume that you can, well, I got underneath it last year, should be no problem. That was last year.
Yeah.
Things change over year. And also watch for antennas. A lot of people sometimes put larger antennas on their vehicles. Not like the old CB antennas that would whip and come, basically just tail back. Some of these antennas now are pretty stiff, and you don't want to be hitting that power line with that antenna either. So
Right.
if you do add an auxiliary antenna, and a lot of people do, please note how high that is. So if you had a power line that was a foot above you and you got a 2-foot antenna, guess what? You don't have a problem.
Yeah.
That antenna is going to eat some power line, and you're in the truck with it. Hopefully there's no problem with that line. But
Yeah.
you don't want to be doing that.
Right.
Just go ahead, and if you see something that looks out of place with that line, call Intercounty, let them check it out.
Yeah.
Or find a different route out with higher access that you can get out clearly. Get
Yeah.
out without issues.
Right. We're over 5,700 miles of line. That's a lot of line to keep track of. And you hit the nail on the head. If you see something that looks not right, call us and let us know, because it may be an area where we're not frequently around. Where an employee may not see something because there's no need to be out that way for a while. So if you see it and it looks like something that might need to be addressed, we would much rather you call and we go out and everything be okay than to not call and tell us and then, some sort of accident happen.
Hasn't been an extremely windy summer, but we did have an extremely windy February. If you remember back, our early winter was really windy. And that can affect where your poles are. They can shift a little bit. And a 6-inch shift of your pole is going to drop your line. If that happens to be where you're going under, and they'll tighten the one on the other side, but it'll shift this other one, drop it a little bit lower. It can happen that way, can't it?
It can. And, it may be something where the guys just need to come out and take a look at the guy wires, and maybe there needs to be a new anchor put in and get that kind of back where it's supposed to be. But just like I said, if you see something that looks out of sorts, we would much rather you call and let us know, so we can put eyes on it and either, yeah, it's okay, or no, it's not, and this is what we need to do.
Okay. What else you got?
That's it.
That's it?
That's it. Back to school time. Thank you to all the teachers that are back in the classroom.
Hopefully you guys are making presentations at some of these schools. Is that something that's starting to come back now?
Yeah, during COVID, there was kind of a slack in that. We weren't in the classrooms, but the kids weren't hardly in the classrooms. So, but yeah, last year that picked back up. We always have presentations at the local schools. We've been visiting with emergency services, fire departments, especially when they respond to a scene, what to do. It's not the little Power Town table. That's not not the presentation we put on for them, but no matter what type of group you have, whether it's a classroom group or it's a group of personnel, or maybe even you got a small group, you got a Lions Club meeting or a church group or something, if you want a presentation about energy efficiency or energy safety, those are all things we can do and that we regularly do. So let us know if that's a need.
Doesn't have to be child oriented. It can be adult oriented. Absolutely. Find out more. And it's something that if you maybe a little bit more unaware of some of the new advances in technology. I mean, you can't keep up with them if you're not in it every day.
Right.
But it doesn't mean it's a whole bunch different. It'll still shock you. That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
We haven't moved to DC power, so it's not going to do that. It's going to give you a shock. You don't want to be doing that. And just be very careful. And sometimes we get, I don't want to say careless, maybe we just get, as you mentioned, get used to your surroundings. You just do something without thinking a little bit. Just please don't. It could be something as simple as washing your car and bringing out a vacuum. And it's electric vacuum instead of a battery power one. Please don't do that. Because if it's out in the water and you're grabbing it and you're in the car trying to vacuum and then you come back, step on the ground, and or maybe you turn that vacuum cleaner over and the next thing you know, you got a little problem there because that thing is active, it's live.
Right.
And you're in the car, so you don't know it's live. Step on that ground, you're going to find out how live it is.
Yeah.
And it may not be a good result.
Right.
So just be very careful. Try and use your head. If you have battery charged utensils you can use, vacuums and different. Some people even have these little swirly like squeegees that they put on their car now to clean the inside of their windows. Really pretty cool stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It takes away all the fingerprints. They can go up in a corner. It moves sideways, up and down, and in a circle. That was pretty cool. Yeah, but it cleans your windows.
Huh.
Inside and out. So you get that.
And it's just battery.
It's just battery operated. And the thing is, it's kind of neat because, you get that kind of human grease that gets on your window, the inside of your windshield.
Film.
We all know what it is. Can't get it off no matter what. I mean, it's like thick super glue. You can't take it off no matter what you're trying to do. But with this thing, all it does, it takes all that right off there. You don't even have to use anything on it.
Huh.
Pretty cool stuff. I've only seen one. I haven't seen it out since one time. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. I said, why don't I see it around anywhere? Maybe it's too expensive. I
Maybe
don't know.
so.
But anyway, it's a pretty cool tool. There's a lot of those out there anymore. But hey,
Neat stuff.
so very good. So this is autumn, basically. I mean, we're, what, 10 days away? 9 days away. Not far.
Not far at all. No.
So you got any plans, big plans to go leaf looking and stuff this year?
For the fall. I've got a senior this year, so she's got a senior picture fall session.
Well, that should be good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of beautiful areas.
It's beautiful in the Ozarks. It really
in
is.
Licking and toward Texas County. You got Boiling Springs you could go out toward too. You
Yeah.
got Montauk. You got all that
Montauk's
whole area.
beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got a lot of different areas. Go up to Seven Springs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Be good. There'll be some pretty senior pictures.
Yeah.
I want to see those.
Okay.
Should be good. Very good. Yeah, you'll be busy. You will be busy. Well, we'll all be busy.
Right.
With
Well, yeah,
senior-
because everybody made that list. They've got their to-do list with all these things they got to do in the fall. So
And that includes you.
that includes my list too. Yeah.
That includes me too. So we didn't get out of it. Heather, as always, we appreciate you coming
Absolutely.
by. And don't forget, mark down that date. If you forgot it or didn't have a pencil or pen or paper, October 10th, 11 to 1 out at the Commons.
That's right.
That'll be Member Appreciation Month, and they'll be providing you lunch.
That's right.
Woohoo!
Grilling some burgers.
Grilling some burgers, and there'll be chips, and there'll be some other amenities out that way
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yep.
Now, will you have Roundup that day?
Roundup will be that day.
guys will be
Radio will be that day. Salem lunch will be that day. It'll be a busy day.
You'll be busy. You'll have to bring some compadres with you. You won't be able to get all that done by yourself.
I may try to grab somebody and bring them with me.
There you go.
Just to let them get
Acclimated?
a little taste of it, huh?
Well, you sent Tony here, what, 3 months ago?
Yeah, I did send
Yeah.
Tony. Tony's fine.
Yeah. He's a ham.
Well, it's good to have him here every now and then to talk about the economic development and the different
Absolutely.
loans that are available, things that he specializes in that he can talk.
That a lot of people don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
true. It's very true. Yes, we appreciate Tony and all he does over that way. And if you have a project, get in touch with him. You know, there's a lighting project over there that can save you some money as long as you're in the county. Use Intercounty Electric. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for the city
Right.
guys.
Right.
But some of the loans, it doesn't matter if you're in the city or the county. It doesn't matter if you're an intercounty customer or not. You can still utilize their
Yeah.
services.
And just a quick phone call. If you've got a plan or something you're thinking about doing, call, talk to him, and he can let you know if, yeah, this will work or no,
Right.
that's not something we do or are
Right.
able to do.
Big projects or little, they have a revolving fund that you can take advantage of if it's a smaller project, and they can get the USDA grants too.
Right.
Grants/loans. Some of them are combined. Some of them are
Right.
just loans. Some of them are just grants.
Right.
All depends on your situation.
It does. So
Talk
just
to the
call.
man. Talk to Tony.
Oh, you're going to give him a big head
Nah,
now.
I ain't gonna give him a big head. Nah. He's already got one up on me because when I sent my check in, I didn't sign it. He had to block it. He goes, I said, seriously, I didn't sign the check. He goes, no, you didn't.
Had to bring it
And I
back.
said, I'm still early. Still before the first of the
Hey,
month.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah,
problem
well, it's
to
good
have.
it got there in the mail. Sometimes that doesn't happen either.
Yeah.
But, you know. But anyway, we appreciate you coming in, spending some
Yeah,
time
thank
with us.
you.
From some Intercounty Electric. We do it every second Tuesday of the month, and we do appreciate them, and they appreciate you, their members. And, of course, if you have any questions, you can call Intercounty at
866-621-3679.
or you can always do Smart Hub, and you can send them a message through there.
Yep. Or swing
don't-
by one of our offices.
Swing by one of the offices. And also don't forget, too, if your payment, that payment, forgot to make it. Here it is, 11:55, the day before. It has to be paid that day.
We have a toll-free automated line that is 24/7. It's a secure line. You're not going to get a live person when you call. It is automated, but you're able to enter your payment information in there. And you're able to do balance inquiries too, which our members who are on Smart Hub appreciate having access to. They can call that number and hear what their balance is at any time. But that number is different. And if you call during normal business hours and you want to pay over the phone, we can transfer you to that. But it's good to go ahead and have this one stored too. That number is 888-678-1987.
Major credit cards are accepted.
That's right. They are.
Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express.
Not American.
Yeah?
American Express.
Yeah.
Visa, MasterCard.
Yeah.
Discover. Yeah, because we just added Discover.
Yeah. American Express.
And then
I just charged it last night.
And you can pay through a bank account too. So if you want to set up to make a payment out of your checking account, you can do that too.
Automatic withdrawal.
Yep.
Can be done.
All of it.
Can be done. Very good. Well, as always, thanks again for coming in. We just appreciate all the time we have with our friends from Minter County. They've done such a tremendous job, and they continue to work with you, their members, to make it better all the time. Yeah, pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. Heather, thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Civic happenings are coming up very shortly, but first we got AP news. We also have for you statewide news on Missouri Net and more. KSMO.
Playing your favorites. KSMO.